Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 94 of the Seezus Show. It's your boy, Sir Seezus, and yes, I have a Lakers jersey on. I know I've been Team Kawhi, Clippers, all that good stuff, but I gotta show love to the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, AD, just the whole franchise, and everything that's been going on. So I'm very, very excited to get into today's hottest topics. But before I get into today's hottest topics, obviously, like always, I have to rehash and recap with you guys the previous episode, which was episode 93. Now, it's been a while since we released an episode, but in the previous episode, we essentially talked about a couple of things. You know, the firing of Coach Doc Rivers, RIP, Delonte West getting back on track, and, you know, essentially our finals predictions. So I said, you know, Lakers in 5, and Trey said Lakers in 6, and Trey was right. So I know he's gonna probably bring that up as well too. So continue to listen, continue to share, subscribe, do what you got to do because this is a great podcast. And like I said, I'm excited to get into today's hottest topic. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, my co-host, that boy, Trey Fayez, aka Trey Day XXIV. What it do, baby?
What's up, everybody? You already know it's your boy Trey Fayez. One take Trey. You already know Trey Day all day. You know the very influential, the boy himself, the co-host. What's up, Sir Seezus? And just right off the back, man, let's go ahead and get into it. You are wearing a Lakers jersey. Take it
Yeah.
off. Take it off.
Nah,
Take
man,
it off.
I can't wear no Dame Doll. I can't wear no Kawhi jersey out here for they jump me out in these streets, man. I saw some videos today where someone said,
You
I
are.
think someone literally said like F LeBron or something like that, and they started eating his ass. I was like, nah, I can't do that. So, you know, I'm a Lakers fan for the time being, I guess.
The hive mindset. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Not hilarious because it's violence, but yo, I wasn't even thinking about that. You really just trying to save your life by doing that. That's crazy.
Bro, I live 3 miles from the Staples Center. Like,
That's crazy.
if I
You could
wanted to, I can
jog.
get there in like 10, 15 minutes. If I walk there, that should take like
Oh,
you gotta take the highway, so probably
got you.
like 45 minutes to an hour, maybe not too bad.
Wow.
But like literally right when the Lakers had won, there was a group of people in Lakers gear just running down the street, which is pretty dope to watch. I was like, yo, what's going on? Is there a fight or some shit? Like, what's going on? Opened up my screen door, looked over the balcony, and they were just wilding. So it was fun to see because they haven't got a championship since Kobe in 2010. So it
You're in
was
a
nice
major
to see,
market.
man.
You're
Yeah.
in a major market.
Yeah, the land of opportunity, right?
Tell LeBron sorry.
Tell LeBron, sorry, LeBron. But man, let's get straight into everything, man. Finals recap, man. Lakers versus Heat. I mean, if you told me going into the bubble or even before the season started, but more so going into the bubble that the Lakers would be playing the Heat, I'd have been like, no way. I mean, the Heat were kind of a dark horse, but I didn't really expect them to be this on fire as well too. So it just shows you, you know, where their mindset was at, what they did before they got into the bubble, and just the overall togetherness that they had, the cohesion that they had. So I really appreciate that. But it's kind of wild, man. I was telling, you know, the audience before I invited you into the call,
Mhm.
I had Lakers in 5 and you had Lakers in 6. Damn,
Ooh.
this may be the first time you was right, bro.
Stop it. I'll be writing a lot of stuff. I just don't think I go back to my takes. I think you suppress my takes and you don't remind me of my good takes. I think I do have some really good takes. Some of mine should be wrong.
I'm gonna try to keep a tally, and then we'll see. We got to do like a 1 to 10 or something like that. And the winner got
Over
to
the
do
years.
something. Yeah, over the
Yeah.
years, man. But I would
Yeah.
have to say, after the Lakers went up 2-0, I really thought that the series was pretty much done. I mean, I think that's when maybe it was after that game or maybe after like game 3 or 4, that's when we started to do the IG lives, which were pretty successful. But after those first 2 games, bro, I thought it was over. And then I guess Jimmy had a talk with Coach Spo and his team, and he ended up going stupid in game 3, 40 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Obviously, they lost game 4, and then game 5, they came back.
Yeah,
They forced a game 6. That's when he played 47 minutes and
different.
literally had 35, 11, 12 with 5 steals. Like, I
That
don't
boy
know
different.
what more you could do. And you can kind of see going into game 6, like, he literally game 5 is when he had his sensu bean. Game 6, he had no more sensu beans. Like you can tell like it was just over from then and there.
Yeah.
Just the way they started off that game, they look like, well, first and foremost, you got to give credit to the Lakers defense in game 6.
Hell yeah.
They strapped. Like I know they could strap, but they strapped. And one thing going into the bubble, with no Avery Bradley and Rondo coming back late, I was like, all right, well, the Lakers have bigs, but I don't really think that their perimeter defense, as far as like slowing down guards, can really help.
Yeah.
KCP and Danny Green and Rajon Rondo, even LeBron James, they did a hell of a job
Shout out
guarding
to
those
KCP,
guards,
man.
bro.
He came. He
Shout
played for that ring, bro. He played for
Shout
that
out to
ring, bro.
KCP. And that's another thing too. Like in this series, he played pretty consistent, but I didn't think he was gonna play like this. That's why I was like, all right, like with the Lakers, you kind of know what you're gonna get out of AD. You know what you're gonna get out of LeBron. You know what you're gonna get out of Rondo. Who's gonna be that wild card? Is it gonna be Kuzma? Is it gonna be Danny Green, given his finals track record? Like Dwight, who is it gonna be? And it ended up being KCP.
Yeah.
So even from game 1, when the Heat went up crazy, KCP literally brought them back in, and that's when they went on that run. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this was a great finals, man. Credit to Jimmy Butler. I kind of wish with Jimmy, he's kind of like a LeBron in the sense. And when I say that, I say he's the type where he wants to
He
get
makes his team
everyone
better.
involved. He makes everyone better. He's obviously proven. He's a great leader. He had a bad track record back when the Bulls wanted to basically restart, and then when he went over to Minnesota, he got a bad rap, and it kind of cleared up a little bit when he went to the Philadelphia 76ers, and he kind of showed us what he can do. But
Yeah.
with him, he likes to get his teammates involved, and obviously when it's fourth quarter, it's kind of like that Dame time is Jimmy Bucket's time, right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think he relied too much on his teammates to get going, which you need to do. But I felt like he could have been more aggressive throughout the series. Like I said, I mean, he still averaged 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, shot 55% from the field. But it's kind of crazy. We're like, yo, you need to do more. You need to do more. But I feel
Hell
like
yeah.
I kind of wish he had that switch where, yo, this is what I have to do in order to win. But I kind of just felt like he kind of was just gassed out at that point in time, and it is what it is. But he did well. AD did well for his first ever deep playoff run, and yet alone finals run. I had 25, 11, and 3, and then obviously all hail King James, all
Yeah.
hail
Yeah.
King
Yeah.
James, all hail King
Thank
James.
you. Thank you.
Averaged
Thank you.
basically 30 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 59% from the field, and 42% from 3. Can I get an amen?
Hey man, what checks say? 27, 7-7. Watch King. 27, LeBron.
Watch King.
Watch King. Watch King. Shout out
Yeah.
checks.
And the thing is, like I said, going into it, I was like, yo, this might be a wash because like although the Heat, have been pretty much battle tested, they swept the Pacers, they took down the reigning MVP / finals, defensive player of the year, and then juggernaut in Boston, they took them all down in under 6 games. So I thought going into it, it was just going to be a mad matchup. So I think for people who said, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk for LeBron and AD and the Lakers franchise going into the finals, I kind of think the Heat proved them wrong. And I think you
Mm-hmm.
can actually say the Heat played them the best out of every single team because they beat Portland in 5, they beat Houston in 5, they beat the Nuggets in 5, and the Heat actually pushed them to 6. The Heat actually forced them to change up their whole game plan.
Yep.
And credit to Coach Vogel as well too. A lot of people
Would have stayed in the
have
West.
this thing where it's like, all right, since LeBron is the cornerstone of your franchise, you kind of don't really matter. But he's a defensive juggernaut, defensive genius. He made those switches when it was necessary, and it was crazy because like when he had put Caruso in the game for Game 6 to start and replace Dwight, I was like, yo, like I know Caruso plays pretty solid perimeter defense, but I thought that with with the limitations of Dwight's minutes and his inability to guard on the perimeter, I thought
Hmm.
that a player like a Bam and a player like a Kelly Olynyk would play better in the paint when AD's not in the game. And Jimmy will have more freed up space as well too to get there, but obviously that didn't work. That didn't work at all as well too. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy how things unfold, man. What were your takeaways from the finals, man?
Um, One, just two really good teams. The dominance of AD, even though we hadn't, excuse me, even though we hadn't seen him at that stage, it seemed like he was built for it. I mean, I won't take away from his greatness because he's playing alongside of LeBron James or anything like that, but he was really really built for it, man. Like it's hard to contain him. I couldn't imagine too many players that were gonna compete with him, from a outside in, inside out standpoint. He looks like a big guard a lot of ways. His post moves are somewhat unorthodox at times. Those little turnarounds or whatever like that, but those things work for him because he's just like a once in a lifetime player. And I don't see a player that's contending with him on all phases of the game. If there's a mismatch, it somewhere somehow. Um, we Another thing, we have to put some respect on Jimmy Butler's name. Like now, like give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? So like all that analytical stuff, all that. Where's Jimmy Butler ranking here? Or not even, he wasn't even in like the top 10 or whatever rankings of players. We weren't talking about that. We were talking about the media and how he's portrayed and stuff like that. You have to, and a lot of times grit is not put into a category. That's not a stat sheet. The grit, the determination. Damn well there's people that you walk into on a basketball court that, yes, this kid can shoot lights out, or he might be able to give a million assists, but the people that you want on your team that are just going to make you better, going to make the people around you better, that you just enjoy playing with because they're going to ride for you, whether it be pickup basketball, college basketball, NBA basketball. It's a select few that do that and kind of just aren't selfish. And we saw two people that do it at the highest level, LeBron James, and we saw Jimmy Butler, as well as the supporting cast, the cast members that came around. Again, we talked about KCP, the insertion of Caruso. I think Frank Vogel with players that were a little bit more seasoned, maybe had a very interesting, time switching it out. And you have LeBron James that, can always be referenced as the coach on the floor. You don't have to do anything. But Vogel, for the most part, coached that team. LeBron played with that, and they were of one mind, but at the same time, two entities. And then you have to give it up to Eric Spoelstra, who is almost, you could argue, be a Hall of Fame coach already. Argue Hall of Fame coach already. The younger talent, the more eclectic talent. You got Bam, you got Tyler Hero, you got Goran Dragic. That shout out to Goran Dragic. He came out and he freaking played on what he looked like he was in pain. He was kind of limping around. He had that brace on, and he gave it all for his team. Even if it was a losing effort, that dude really came out and did his freaking thing. So shout out to him, as well as all the way to like the old vets, Udonis Haslam that didn't play but was a presence, was pretty much a coach, to Andre Iguodala, and all the way down the line, man. You saw two really good teams, in NBA that I saw too. It was like when you realize the NBA played for what, 5 or 4 months, had zero COVID, a positive COVID test, and you realize that the NBA should be running the country and not the actual leaders. So all within the parameters. I know we talked about it when it came to social justice and stuff like that, but uh, for all intents and purposes, a very successful outing, a very dope experience for the viewers and the players. It was kind of weird. I'm sure it was weird for them being away from home for so long. With everything, but what more could you ask from the NBA? What more could you ask from the players? You know, they did what they had to do. They have their platform. Hopefully, some of them have their money in their pockets, and the fight continues off the court. And on the court, we had a successful outing to hopefully in these COVID times that in the nation we decide that we don't feel like just living with it anymore. We decide we want to nip it in the butt eventually coming down the stretch of the year, and we can live, in a post-COVID time that looks and resembles a little bit, you know, what it did look like before that, and we can continue with basketball, we continue the human connectivity, and we can continue with life in general. But I think from an overall standpoint, you talk about the finals, you talk about the bubbles, you talk about the NBA. Damn, they pulled that off. They really did.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I kind of want to get into next, like what we learned about the whole bubble experiment slash playoffs in general. One, like you said, for them to be over 6,000 plus people in and out the bubble, essentially, and them to have zero COVID tests, that just tells you that the NBA is just light years ahead of every other major sport, even including soccer as
Yeah,
well, too. And they plan that shit out very well. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
As long as you put that time, energy, and effort in, you can find ways to be successful. So credit to them. Also credit to the players putting their differences aside and, using the bubble not only to compete, but using it
But you should put
for
your
their social.
pride aside and ride for me. I guess it
Yeah. So
wasn't time. Sorry, I'm sorry.
yeah. So credit to the where was I at? Credit to the players
Players, yes, I'm sorry.
for utilizing their platform to spread awareness for the social justice and encouraging people to vote as well too. And even when they boycotted for that 1 or 2 days as well too, they kind of
Hmm.
showed you how much power that they have and how they can hurt the pockets of owners and these
Yeah,
major TV deals and whatnot as well too. Another thing we learned is the Nuggets are going to be looking promising, right? They
yeah.
they got everything that they need. They had the confidence. They went up against the best. They passed the test. So I think we should respect them as well. The Heat should be respected, like you said as well too. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to be favorites next year as well. We also learned that small ball doesn't work with the Houston Rockets. They went all in. Daryl Morey went all in. Mike D'Antoni all in went all in,
What
and
did
they
Kobe say?
what did Kobe say? That's never going to get you a championship.
Fact,
Never going to get you a championship. Another thing is one star can't win it all. We know that
fact.
you need moving parts, and when I say that, I'm looking at a Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's like I said, two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, his duo is probably one of the weakest out of all the dynamic duos. No knock on Chris Middleton, but you just need that reliable number two option, and you need better depth around you as well too.
Oh
Another thing we
God,
learned is chemistry matters. It may look pretty on the outside, but it's really truly about what matters on the inside. That chemistry matters. The Lakers
yeah,
had chemistry from going outside the bubble to going inside the bubble. Miami had chemistry going outside the bubble, going into the bubble. You can tell by just the energy that they had around each other, off and on the court as well. And
yeah.
even, with Miami, Jimmy Butler during COVID purchased, I'm pretty sure all of his players like basketball hoops. He's like, yo, until we get access to the gym, I want y'all working on this joint working on your game every single day.
That's a real dude right there,
That's a
bro.
real dude, right? So chemistry really, really matters, man. And leaders lead, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of my knocks on Kawhi. You're such a great player, but I think the next evolution of your game to really grow for you to actually get back to that promised land and competing for championships in the finals is you just got to step out your comfort zone and you got to
Yeah,
be a vocal leader. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You got to take that next leap because if you don't, you're going to come up short every single time. We saw what Jimmy Butler did this year. We saw what LeBron James did this year as well, too. And like I already said, depth matters. Coaching matters as well, too. You got to be able to put your pride aside and be willing to adjust on the fly. We saw what happened. Budenholzer wasn't able to do that. Um, you know, Doc Rivers wasn't able to do that as well. Mike D'Antoni wasn't able to do that as well, too. And last but not least, what we learned is LeBron is the GOAT of our generation as well, too. So it's
say that one
pretty
time.
evident. LeBron James is the GOAT of our generation. And we need to put some goddamn respect on his name as
He
well,
wants his
too.
damn respect too.
He wants his damn respect. And now I'm going into the next topic. LeBron just proved us all wrong, man. And it's just
Very
so
sure.
amazing to see what he does. Like we truly are taking his presence for granted. I feel like he won't be like we appreciate him now, But all the
Yep.
haters and whatnot, they won't really appreciate him until he leaves the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
if you would have told me him going to LA, he was going to find a way to get AD, or, he before he got injured, they were a top 3, 4 seed, and he messes up with his growing. So I'm like, damn, this is the first time he actually had a major injury. So I'm in my head, I'm like, yo, knock on wood, man. I hope it's not like Kobe where, boom, he messes up his Achilles, boom, messes up his shoulder, boom, he
Yes, sir.
messes up his knee, and he's just never really the same because all those years, all that mileage, all those Finals MVP, Finals appearances, all that really matters. So I was a little nervous, and I was thinking like, yo, I don't know if you can do this year. And now you're in the West. Your biggest knock on you was, yo, you've been in the East. You've been breezing through the East, right? You finally get to the West. You don't make the playoffs. You get a top pick. You get AD. AD comes there. AD has had years of being the guy, putting up monster numbers, but there's always that part where you kind of have a clash, and your ego kind of clashes with the other star as well too. But LeBron said it best: they don't have any ego, and I was shocked
Oh, yeah.
because when you form a team kind of like that on the fly, you're really not expected to win that first year. I mean, very few teams have done it with the Boston Celtics with the big three back in 2007, and then when you
Mhm.
add KD with that
Mhm.
juggernaut with the Warriors, it kind of worked out as well too. But other than that, teams really don't work out that first year. So credit to them. And then again, he's 35 years old, right?
Yeah.
He's 17. Like, the fact that he still looks like he's 25, 26 years old is just crazy, man. When you say Kobe being a god of discipline, LeBron might be the other person who's another god of discipline as well too. He truly inspires our generation, motivates our generation to literally plan. Luck favors the prepared. You got
Yeah.
24 hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? Why not use it to your advantage? If you plan out your day and attack it and you just attack it with purpose, then the results will show. He's proven that.
Yeah.
So, credit to him, man. He just did well, and then he also, in the bubble, the Lakers weren't looking the best. The role players weren't
Yeah.
looking the best. The role players were knocking down shots. He even commented after games and say, "Yo, I'm not used to this. Like, I'm so used to being around my family. I'm an extrovert. I thrive with energy. So it's very different not playing in front of fans. So, um, I just want to pay homage to LeBron James as well too, and that kind of brings me to our next topic. And I know I said on IG Live, and I know I said on past episodes where I think we should have this shift where we don't necessarily we don't necessarily rate who the GOAT is, because it's really hard when there's different eras involved. There's so many nuances of the game, right? So it's kind of hard to debate that. But like what Tristan Thompson said, even in an episode on, I think, Speak for Yourself, in Colin Cowherd, he was like, yo, it's just inevitable, right? Like, you always have to compare one great to another great. So going over to you, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not going to be the one to, say who's the GOAT and who's not. But even if we do argue who the GOAT is, LeBron James is making a strong case for being back into that GOAT conversation as well, too. I'm talking about a guy, like I said, year 17, 35 years old, should have been MVP this year, to be honest with you. But for his career, to average 27, 7 and 7, shooting 49% from the field, be a 16-time All-Star, be a rookie of the year, win with 3 different franchises, yet alone, not with just 3 separate franchises, because a couple of people done it before, but being the finals MVP for 3 different franchises, has been known to work with less, being able to literally put people on his back and carry them, go through so many coaching changes, be a 16-time All-Star, 16-time All-NBA, 4-time Finals MVP, 4-time champion, 6-time All-Defensive Team. The list can go on and on and on again, but I think you can put him in that GOAT conversation. I mean, what do you say to that?
um, of course, you put them in that conversation. And what come to my mind is they're like gatekeepers of the game, right? If we would transpose this and we go into the mind of Trey, right? Um, and going back to like Egyptian god cards, you know, you see you got Exodia, you got damn, I can't even think of it. I'll find the other one soon. But
You talking about
you have the,
Yu-Gi-Oh?
yeah, you just in general, you know what I'm
Oh, okay,
saying?
okay, okay, okay.
You have gatekeepers. But I was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh when I said Exodia. But
Okay, okay.
and then you had like the red dragon, then you had the blue John too, which whatever what they wanted
And
Yugi
then,
had.
and
But
then like the Dark Summon Skull needed all 5 pieces for that jump.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You hip.
A
But
little bit.
they're like the gatekeepers of the game, bro. And when you put up just like, uh this behind it is this wealth of basketball energy, knowledge, power, legacy, you know what I'm saying? But at the gates, you have Kobe Bryant, the god of discipline. You have Michael Jordan, the spirit of competition. You have LeBron James, and his story is not yet written, so I couldn't give him exactly a title just yet. But you have King James, who is, and you fill in the blank, but you're walking up, you arrive on this planet that is the basketball planet, and you're walking up, and you see them three, and you're like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And you have to say the code just to get into the wealth of knowledge and power and stuff like that. So it's just like they sit there and they each hold their own kind of thing, and they coexist in that matter. And like we always see in these things and these stories and these tales, anytime that these great things collide or clash or compared, it's and I say devastation, but I mean devastation in like in a beautiful way, because it's competition. Is you can go on for days and hours. It's infinity. You know what I'm saying? It's infinity in a way. And I'm getting deep, but,
No, I love it.
but
You know I love that shit.
and I'll tie it back around. So listeners, this is me on a daily basis. So if y'all ever want to just talk about some crazy, just DM me. But it's infinity, because you're multiplying these things that don't end. Their legacies don't really cease when they stop playing, because that's how good they were when they were playing. You're multiplying by each other, and it just there's no end to the argument. There's no end to the comparison. There's no end to anything. So when you're saying, oh, well, maybe he's greater, he's greater, it's hard to do, because it's like pie. You know what I'm saying? You can divide it each and every way, but it's still 3.14, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a roll, baby. Talk to me. You still gotta eat it regardless. You still gotta eat it regardless. But I say all that to say, yes, he submitted himself into greatness. I give it up to LeBron more so, and I go in just every time. It's because we've seen a lot of players, even Kobe and Michael. It's a system of checks and balances if you give them all three, right?
Mm-hmm.
From 16 or 14, 15 on, he knew he was the guy. And how much pressure does it take not to fumble that? So, Kobe was coming onto the scene, he told us that I had a kill list. So he had people he needed to be better than. There really has been nobody better than LeBron James since LeBron James popped on the scene. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan got cut from his basketball team in high school. They would never think about cutting LeBron James, the kid with the afro from Akron, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So we haven't seen this, that kept up this pressure, that put the world on his back and did it, and has been doing it not for freaking since 18, for 17 years. He's been doing it since like 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated since that time. Like, we haven't seen this. And we'll realize it once the whole documentary is in place. I know Mike Jordan keeps putting out Space Jam every time LeBron wins, or he keeps putting out, the documentary, the MJ,
Last
the Last
Dance.
Dance documentary. But we're gonna see some LeBron stuff, and we're gonna be like, yo, in comparison, it might change our mind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It might change our mind a little bit. But just looking at that, bro, on top of that, he's not shying away from social justice issues. He has other forms of media right now, right here and now. He has his own shoe. It's like he's multidimensional. He's multidimensional. And when you talk about King, when you talk about God, when you talk about presence, you think of something that's multidimensional, that exists in so many different phases, that it's hard to deny that it actually exists. And I'll stop there with the LeBron James conversation, but the dude's doing the damn thing. So shout out to King James.
Facts, man. Facts. You spit nothing but facts. I wish I had a bomb. Do. Give it up for Trade Day XXLV, aka Trey Fires.
We got to get one of them. We'll get it.
Yeah, I need to work on that. You know what I'm saying? I always got to try to find ways to improve. But someone made a little joke and was like, man, LeBron ain't gonna be the GOAT unless Space Jam 2 better than Space Jam 1. And then someone else said, like, towards the end of Space Jam when Jordan's going for a dunk or whatever, he's like, yo, knowing LeBron, he probably gonna find an open man and give it to Bugs Bunny for the pass.
On God.
I was like, yo, your child like, nah, he ain't gonna go out like that.
On God.
But damn. Yeah, man, you pretty much wrapped that up. That was great. So even staying on LeBron, but a new topic with LeBron. The average career span in the NBA is about 4.5 years. And he's about to go into year 18, bro.
That's freaking ridiculous.
18. How long do you think he can stay in his prime?
I had this conversation the other day. We were swooping. I said I give him 1.5 to 2 more years of kind of the absolute get what he wants dominance. After that, he'll still be pretty dominant. But it'll come to where he has to really, give and take some things. And for me, being the analyst that I am, I saw it. I've seen it the past 2 years. He still picks his battles. He's still not going stupid. He's not guarding, the number one defender every single time, but he can't step up that defense whenever he needs to. He's that smart. You know what I'm saying? If we have to go into anything, it might be, LeBron James, the IQ guy, the smartest, you know what I'm saying? We say Michael Jordan's the strongest, and we say, Kobe Bryant's the god of, discipline of war, whatever like that. If we had to really come to a basis of that, but, it's hard to outsmart him. It's like a Sherlock Holmes intelligence. And when people play like Rondo was saying it the other day, Rondo was like, yo, I know if I can play with a player like LeBron James, we win a few championships. So yes, your body starts to go a little bit, but again, going back to it, his frame, nothing we've ever seen. Stand at 240, 250, 6'8", quick as the quickest guard, strong as your post player. And what does that look like when he's taking care of itself, when he's playing the point guard role, you know what I'm saying? When he's playing that Magic Johnson role, what does all that look like on year 35? We just seen it, and he didn't he lost his stuff. So, again, 2 more years of dominance wouldn't surprise me. And that's saying he'll be 36 this year in December. You know what I'm saying? Capricorn season. He'll be 36. So we're saying well into 38, he's going to look very, very good as a basketball player and somebody you would still start on your team and give you a quality at least 18 buckets a game and probably 9 assists, or I won't say 9, probably 6 assists and a good 7 or 8 rebounds. Like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So where's the fall off at? Again, I give him 1.5 of absolute dominance still, and I'll give him 3 years to where he might start considering, like, you know what, when is Bronny gonna get here? You know what I'm saying? It's time for me to ride up into the sunset.
Yeah, man. There's very few players I've seen to play that great for that long. Obviously, you got, Kareem, and then you had Cristiano Ronaldo in soccer, Lionel Messi in soccer, Tom Brady right now as well too. But
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. But man, with LeBron, it's like he's probably the only player that's actually invested, $1 million into his body each and every single year. He just may be that rare case where, as long as he don't get no major injury, knock on wood, Todd's infinity, I think he's gonna be. It's looking like the best player in the league for 2 more seasons.
That's what I'm
saying. So obviously, so I agree with you. 2 more seasons. And then probably by year 3, he's going to be like, yo, AD, this
Go
your
ahead.
team. I'm about to be a free agent. I might take the Tim Duncan or the Dirk Nowitzki route. not really get paid that much. I'm getting all this money from endorsements and whatnot.
Hell yeah.
So let's bring in another star or two. And he's still going to be that starter, but he's just not going to put up that much numbers because he knows that why work hard when I can work smarter. And then the playoffs, we may see glimpses, but I can see him being the best player for about 2 more seasons, which is ridiculous as well too.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's on him. And obviously, a little luck plays a little favor in that as well too with injuries and whatnot. But
And think about it, right? So if we're on the timeline, which we haven't heard a whole lot, but Adam Silver wants to get the league started back up in at least February. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
we're on the same timeline, and say the next season, for COVID reasons, ends right around here again. I don't see any fall off, bro. I don't. I don't. This is a great time to incubate. Everybody has the holidays to themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's prime time to get your body right. Whether it be bulking season, whether it be cutting season, you're coming right back. And however they decide to deliberate it, I think there'll be a little bit different regulations on COVID and stuff like that. It just seems like it kind of is going to run together for the season. And
Mhm.
then, I think the most anticipated thing will be when they're back. Now, I won't say full swing because we don't know what it's actually going to look like, but
Yeah.
when it resembles a little bit what the past looks like. The past looks like, and they are going to these different places that might not just be predestined sites, or they might be playing at their arenas and stuff like that. And we see a 38-year-old LeBron James putting up freaking numbers, and the media will double back down on that. It's like, oh well, can he do it here and this and then this environment? It's like, yo, he's not gonna have anything to prove other than he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna have anything else to prove. We already gave him, me and you were giving him his respect, and it's just gonna be very a joyride to see that. At 38, when something will look how it looks in 2022, like it's gonna be very interesting. So
Yeah, for sure, man. I can't wait until he rides off into the sunset, hopefully on his own terms, and
yeah.
comes out with his documentary, comes out with his book, because I'm very, very curious to see with that $1 million you spent on your body, what exactly were you doing? And then two, there's been a couple games in his career, more so than not, when he falls to the ground and you think like, damn, is this the
Yeah,
time
and he
he actually
pops right back up.
hurts? And he pops right back up. So I want to see, like, I want to hear from him. What injuries did you battle through? But because you're such a
Yeah,
warrior, you just like, nah, I'm not going to use
but
that as
no,
an excuse or anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
hell
really
yeah.
interested to see what happens, which leads me to my next topic. Obviously, he has 4 rings right now. When it's all said and done, and like you said, me and you agreed that he has probably about 2 more years, or like you said, season and a half of him being the best player, being this dominant, or being the number one option, or whatnot, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
How many more championships do you think he can actually win?
Um, with the market he's in, I think he'll round out at 5, only because I think the storyline is going to be, oh, the Lakers might just go for a three-peat. That's gonna, it's gonna be another Lakers three-peat, and they might get stopped in their tracks in, like, again, that year 2022, 23 kind of season. Um, and it'll kind of look like that. I think they'll make the right plays. I think they have some bargaining chips where they can get some players in there that might make it a little bit easier for them. And I think they were pretty dominant in this year's playoffs, but it could be even different when they get a few pieces in there. And I think there'll be, it will be like you said, hey, I'm gonna start a step back. I'm gonna take this pay cut. So yo, come over here, whatever like that. I think they're in range to get anybody they really want. Definitely a player that's fed up, a player that might have claimed loyalty to his team over and over again, but might just be fed up with it, and you know could be an elite guard in the league.
Yeah, yeah, I
I'll
think he.
I'll, I'll leave it at that. But
Yeah,
but so
yeah. I mean, I
you
think
know,
he can. Dame time. I think he can. I think he can definitely win in 1 to 2 more. Not to say that he will, but
I say
looking at
5.
looking at history, if he doesn't get hurt, he goes to the finals in his prime. So
Yeah,
as long as AD might be the wild card though, because AD look like he be getting nick and knack bruises, but he's able to
yeah.
play through that pain. So I'm a little nervous that it might catch up with him one day. But at the end of the day, injuries are part of the game. Injuries can happen to anybody. But
And I think
knowing what I
AD.
Mhm.
is just soaking up LeBron. I think LeBron's gonna like really just put AD in a chokehold and like, yo, listen to me. And AD might start spending $1 million. LeBron might spend $1 million on AD's body. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
For his
no, I,
legacy.
no, I can actually definitely see that as well too. Moving gears, man. We've seen LeBron play with a good amount of number one options. From AD obviously being from a talent perspective one of the best bigs to ever do it. Really coming in with no ego. With D Wade, obviously his '06 historic finals run being, when you think of Miami Heat, you think of Wade County, only really having 2 seasons of his prime to play with LeBron, and obviously the knee injuries picked up, and
Mm-hmm.
they were still able to go to 4 finals appearances. And then Kyrie being one of the most creative geniuses known on this earth, being one of the best skilled scorers of all time, having that mama mentality. Out of all those 3 players, and you can include Kevin Love and you can include Chris Bosh as well too, who do you think is LeBron's best partner in crime?
From an all around standpoint, I think it's AD. You know, you can plug him into so many different roles and easy said like that. I think Dwayne Wade being the third best two guard of all time. You know what I'm saying? That and probably the best two guard of his era. Because and I won't honestly put him in Kobe's era, but their eras kind of overlapped because Kobe's above him in that. Then it'd be for me it would be like MJ Kobe, then Dwayne Wade, and then whoever else falls into that category after that. But
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade was the top of his game, the best of his game, despite Kobe kind of playing at the same time. Uh, but AD is the Swiss Army knife with so many things. He can shoot the rock like we saw in the Denver series. He hit that big shot, those rebounds. No, it seemed unfair because nobody was really messing with him around the rim, and it seemed too easy. Just like when Rondo dropped that one time, AD was at the freaking like he was coming in. He was like free the line extended, and this is a good amount of distance from the free throw line extended to the basket. It's a good long 2 steps, but literally Rondo was under the basket, flicked it back to AD. He was still free the line extended. He took like one just step with one leg and slammed the ball. It's like who's doing that? You know what I'm saying? Dwayne Wade was doing some crazy stuff, baseline, dunking on people and stuff like that, but you can't make up for that. People that are guarding that kind of stuff, it takes so much out of you. Him being 7 foot tall and playing like that. If LeBron ever has to see KD again in a matchup, of substantial, say it's the finals or say the NBA redoes the playoffs, the seeding and stuff like that. If he ever has to see KD again, AD is a good, you know, cancel out for KD. You know, so it's like
Yeah.
you gotta give it up to that dude, bro. Like he's the best player that LeBron's played across, and from an all around standpoint.
From a skill and talent perspective, I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis, obviously, and there's no need to, say everything that you said. But from a holistic standpoint, I'm gonna go with D Wade, just
Okay.
because D Wade was already a champion when LeBron James got there.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
D Wade kind of taught him the ropes, how to get that dog mentality, how to have that championship DNA, how to strive for excellence each and every single night, how to develop that strong work ethic as well too, and the fact that they won the 4 finals appearances and have 2 championships. I'm gonna give it to D Wade, and then also I think what LeBron learned from D Wade that first year when they lost with Dallas going into next year, yo, let's put our egos aside and I'm going to empower you.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why LeBron and AD were able to work out so well, because obviously LeBron, we know what comes with LeBron, but he
Oh
was
yeah.
able to say, hey, yo, I'm going to empower you. You're going to be the number one option on our team. There's not going to be no ego. And I think he picked up all those things from D Wade as well, too. So that's one of the reasons why I would pick D Wade for now. And then if they're able to repeat again, I'm going to definitely, go with Anthony Davis, which leads me to my next topic as well. with everything that's been going on, and we know that teams are going to, kind of take a step back and try to model their game after the winning formula, which they always do.
Hmm.
Yes or no? And just why in about 30 seconds and less. Do you see the Lakers being favorites next year to win the championship?
Yes.
And why is that?
Um, all the things we literally just talked about. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna waste your time, people.
Yeah,
So everything we just
yeah,
talked about.
yeah. LeBron being in his prime, 80, knowing what it takes to win now. If they can retain Rondo and move a couple pieces around, I
And
don't
I see
see
them
why
moving some
not.
pieces around. Like
Yeah.
so a few of them guys definitely showed that they have some value. And I think one big guy that probably just needs his own space to grow and is a good bargaining piece is probably gonna be Kyle Kuzma. I think he needs space on another team to grow, and he's probably gonna do crazy numbers. But I'm not sure if he's really matching up with what the Lakers need.
Mhm.
He was good in the series, and he was good all playoffs long. He's been pretty decent, but I think he just needs that space, kind of like Brandon Ingram in a way,
Yeah.
and they need to get somebody in there that maybe has more of a set role and also can on defense. Uh, Kind of another stretch man that can come off the bench and do the same kind of things. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean they have,
yeah.
they have three assets right now. Like you said, Kyle Kuzma's young, and like you said, if he has a defined role and he can go on a team where he can be number one or number two, I think he would thrive as well too. We
Yeah.
saw early on his first 2 years the numbers he put up as well.
Hmm.
And then KCP, he revamped. He looks good now. So any team who's looking for that two guard that can be a 3-and-D knockdown shooter,
Oh yeah.
championship DNA, you got him. And then obviously Danny Green had an up and down playoff run/playoff run, but I think
Yeah.
he's still one of those pieces where you're like, all right, we're going all in. I think he could be that last missing piece that we need as well too. So there's no doubt in my mind that they won't potentially be favorites and get back to the finals and win another championship as well too.
You still
Moving
got
on
like
to my
Avery
next topic.
Bradley still. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, I forgot about Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now it's just like obviously like we know why you didn't want to come to the bubble. One of it because of social justice, another one because of the health of your son.
His
But it's just
family. Yeah.
like, damn, like I know he get that ring, but in my mind, like, yo, I don't even. It's not really my ring. You know what I'm saying? He won't
If
dare
you're
with the.
DeMarcus Cousins, you take the ring. If you're Deion Waiters, you take the ring.
I'll take it, but I ain't gonna like stunt with it or whatnot. I'm gonna have it just to have it. But like to me, I didn't really. I won't in the trenches with him as well too. So it's always gonna. I'm always gonna have a different feeling towards it, a different
Yeah.
view towards it as well too. Which leads me to my next topic. We can briefly talk about what does this mean. And it was so amazing to watch Rajon Rondo be the only player to win for the two most historic franchises, and
Mhm.
Dwight being, baby Shaq back in the day, Superman, to go through all this adversity and injuries and being a social media news outlet for the wrong reasons, for him to finally come back and put his pride aside, win a championship. What does this mean for Dwight and Rajon Rondo's legacy?
Uh, it digs them up. Definitely clear Hall of Fame status for both of them. Simple as that for me.
Yeah, for real, man. I was happy, man, seeing Dwight get emotional, and then
He's been through
seeing
a year, bro. He's been through like a crazy year. Like even like with his son, like you saw the headlines with his son, how his son and was saying like, "Yo, I lost my mom," whatever like that. Rajon Rondo has been pretty solid across the bases. We don't know, what kind of happens in his personal life as much as we've seen the White kind of be in the media a little bit more. But for two guys that have been journeymen as of lately, um, that have faced adversity, and just comes down to being human, being a hooper, doing what you love to do. Dwight being one of the best IQ big men that the games has ever seen, as well as athletic and stuff like that. Rajon Rondo being one of the most uh, big highest IQ guards we've ever seen, and still doing it when it looked like he wasn't really trying to do it. But I've listened to multiple interviews with Rajon Rondo where it's like, yo, some nights, your body's just not letting you do certain things, but I'm gonna beat them via IQ. So So it's a real blessing to see stuff like that. Them overcome those challenges. Dwight and his family, God bless them. Um, and even in Shawty, who's beautiful, and seeing Ray John Rondo and his son drinking that cider, allegedly for all intents and purposes. And respect is due. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
Nah, I'm gonna have to agree with you with that one as well too. And people don't realize like this Lakers team was pretty old. Like we said,
Yeah.
LeBron was year 17. Danny Green been in the league for quite some time now. What
Mhm.
is this? Rondo's what? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15th season. This is year 15 for him, and I think Dwight came a year after Bron, so this is year 16 for him. So for them to be pivotal pieces in their championship success, I mean, what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Savvy vets.
Moving on from that. Yes or no?
What's up?
Do you think that when LeBron James got back home, he gave that ass whipping to Bron Jr., baby Bronny Jr.?
Man, you know what happened. Brian walked in that joint. He was like, "Yo, Bronny, where's the freaking weed at?" You know what I'm saying? Bronny was like, "Yo, it's over here." And he's like, "All right, roll up. I'm the champion. I'm the champion."
Right. They probably both got together, bruh. And he
Snickety,
probably
snickety,
and Bron
snacks.
probably got him super duper stoned. He's like, "Yo, you see this?
Don't ever do that again.
Don't exactly. Don't
Yeah,
ever do that again." He's like, "Yes,
that's what
yes,
I
yes,
do. That's what
yeah,
I do. Like, don't ever do it on camera. You know what I'm saying? We got a brand to protect. I'm trying to get you
yeah,
paid. Your
yeah."
mama paid. Your freaking uh what's the baby's name? The daughter got a freaking house in the back of the
Oh,
house.
Zuri, she's so
Yeah,
cute.
Zuri got a house in the back of the house. And mark my words, Bryce Maximus is gonna be the best hooper out of all of them.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. He hoops though. He hoops a lot.
He does hoop. He hoops.
How old is
If he
he?
continues if he continues basketball, he has the same freaking frame that LeBron has, bro.
Hmm.
Bryce is if Bronny's what, like 16? Bronny's what,
Hmm.
16? Bryce is
Yeah,
probably like
probably
12,
13.
13.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That would be
But
dope if he goes
he
to the
has
league too.
LeBron's frame. He has
Yeah.
LeBron's frame. I think, you know, Bronny's like a little bit of a hybrid, and he still hasn't grown into his body. But I think that the frame and the knowledge, that the younger brother syndrome is real, bro. You
Yeah.
blink and then boom, he right in your face, and he's damn good. So that's just
Mm.
my prediction. Hot take, whatever.
Hot take. Hot take. Hot take. Cool. Man, the Heat had such a good run, man. Like we said, no one had really expected them to be here, but they knew they had everything they needed to get there as well too.
Hmm.
So I think they're going to start to improve moving forward, but um, they have a couple things to work on. You know, Bam kind of proved that. I mean, this was his first year making this run, as well as Tyler Hero being a rookie. Basically Duncan Robinson being a rookie. I think last year he played under 15 games, and Kendrick Nunn, who was a starter all year, kind of got tossed back into the fire when Goran Dragic went out as well too. But we learned a couple things. First and foremost, if Bam wants to be great, he's gonna also have to expand his range because there was a lot of times when they were able to sag off of him, um,
Pack the
and
paint.
he just didn't impact the paint. He just didn't want to shoot the ball. So I think that's gonna add something to him as well. Tyler Hero, I like him. Honestly, he just needs experience. So I think moving
Yeah.
forward, we're going to see another leap from him as well too. But he can work a little bit more on his decision making, and knowing when to utilize his strength and athleticism, and really, like you said, honing on your IQ. With Jimmy, I think Jimmy just going to continue to be that leader that he is.
So yeah.
Maybe now, knowing when to turn that switch on and off when his team needs him, within the flow of the game, not until, you know, you lost. All right, this is what I have to do. You just have to know what to do. And then Duncan Robinson, he kind of reminded me of a white Reggie Miller when I saw him play, especially when he
Okay.
went stupid game 5. So I think with him now it's just giving more effort and trying to become a
Okay.
little stronger and playing a little bit more defense and kind of being a threat in a sense where you can give that pump fake and you can go to the basket as well to
Yeah.
be more so of an offensive threat. I think if they do all those things and maybe get a piece or two, I think they can go right back to the finals. To be honest, what do you think?
Um, I agree. I don't think that their front office is gonna sleep. They'll try to find a way to make the team better. They have some pieces where they can say they can interchange them, stuff like that. They have probably some cap space where they'll, people like Udonis Haslam. That's probably not the craziest cap, craziest monetary value, but
Yeah,
they can still say, hey, we're gonna take you off the player payroll and put you in a coaching, role and stuff like that. And who knows if Iggy's going to continue? He looks good, but if we can get another player for him, maybe just different things like that. I don't think anything. I don't think you can replace Iggy's defense just like that. But at the same time, he's an older player. We can see what we can get. I think Pat Riley's not going to sleep. Only Eric Spoelstra's going to sleep, and whoever else the GM is, the management is. I think they're going to keep running because that's what the Heat do. They're always feisty, and they got this person, Jimmy Butler. They can get people that can come in there and fall in line. Sky's the limit.
you're right about that. You're right about that. Rockets have a coaching vacancy, in the New Orleans Hornets or Pelicans. I'm so sorry. Have a coaching vacancy as well. Obviously, D'Antoni parted ways, and Alvin Gentry got fired as well too. So reports are coming out. They're saying with the Rockets, they may get Jeff Van Gundy, one of the commentators for the NBA Finals, obviously with Mark Jackson, and then his brother and Ty Lue are going neck and neck right now for the coaching vacancy in New Orleans. Who do you
Interesting.
think should get those jobs? And then, if you agree with whatever, do you think they're good fits?
I could see maybe Van Gundy getting it.
Which one?
Uh,
Which brother?
uh,
So so Jeff is the one that coached, I believe, T Mac and Yao, and Stan was the one who obviously had the success with Orlando back in the day, and then he was Detroit's
Miami.
coach for a little bit as well, and then I think he was under Pat Riley as well too with Miami.
Uh, uh.
Um,
Maybe him because of the bigger legacy. But we keep hearing you said Jeff was the one that coached T Mac and them like that back in the day.
yeah, Jeff Van Gundy coached T Mac back in there with the Rockets.
We keep hearing rumors of that, man, and I don't think the rumors are too far off from what actually could happen. I think he has a serious push. He probably more than anything, management. He can probably get some good guys around him and around his team that could really coach these guys the heck up. And I think his name comes with some clout. So I think the two Van Gundys have a really good chance. Not anything against Ty Lue, but it's a juggernaut of a resume when it comes to them. And that's hard to say with Ty Lue being a champion of the NBA and coaching with players like LeBron James and so on and so forth, and even just coming from the Clippers where he coached a plethora of players that were really good. But I think we keep hearing the Van Gundy name for a reason. That's
Yeah,
all. That's all.
for sure. And I didn't even know before Jeff Van Gundy, left Houston with T Mac era. He actually coached the Knicks. He was actually the Knicks coach when they played up against the Spurs in the championship, and he was the Eastern
Mm.
Conference champion. So he got some cachet for sure. So I mean, honestly, I mean, like they've had Mike D'Antoni already, so I think it's time to get back to a traditional style of basketball.
Yeah.
And because that small ball lineup won't work, but it's not only going to come down to coaching with the Rockets. You're also going to have to make some moves as well too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens if they can make those moves. I think they'll have a shot at playing well.
How old
And
is
then
James Harden?
James Harden, what, 30, maybe 31. So I mean, he's still in his prime, and the way he plays, he can probably play like that till like LeBron's age right now, to be honest with you. So,
Sure.
um,
Like that, you could probably play till like shoot 37, 38. Keep it that. We
yeah.
seen Joe Johnson go crazy.
Speaking of Joe Johnson, he was on social media today and yesterday, looking like he
Look
want to come
good.
to the NBA and get that last check. I feel him on that one.
He looked good. He looked good.
Yeah, but the last thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you were able to, and you may just do it on the fly. Season just ended. Obviously, we have to take into consideration what moves are going to be made in the free agency, what players are going to get drafted, what players are going to get traded, coaching, yada, yada, yada. Is it going to be in the bubble again? Are we just going to kind of take it like the NBA and have a more traditional approach with the games being played? Top 10 rankings as far as being able to obtain the championship and whatnot. So my top 10, and number one, I had the Los Angeles Lakers because they have LeBron James, they have Anthony Davis. There's really nothing else to say as well. LeBron's still the best, and AD, like I said, learned how to win. And it's probably the best teammate LeBron's ever had. So I'm gonna go with them. Number two, I'm gonna go with the Denver Nuggets because they surprised us all. And I think when you have Murray kind of learning what it takes to get the job done, Jokic emerging, Michael Porter Jr. improving, Bobo getting a little bit better, I think they're the team to be reckoned with. Number
Mm-hmm.
three, I got the Nets. Now I'm banking on Kyrie being fully healthy. I'm banking on KD being back to KD's way with that talent that they
Interesting.
have, and Steve Nash being that former two-time MVP. I think is going to kind of be like a Miami Heat scenario in the 2010-11 season where, they have a little rift and then they go off and just take off and win 20 straight games. And if
Okay.
them two are good to go, put their egos aside, and after them, they establish their roles. Their roles are defined. I think with the East still being wide open, they're a threat. Number
Okay.
four, I got the Golden State Warriors. I mean, we kind of always forget about the two light-skinned brothers over in the Bay Area, the babyface assassin, Klay Thompson, that swish as well too, Army knife with Draymond Green. They're kind of like the Spurs. When you have your big three intact and you always move pieces around and you're healthy, you'll find a way to get back to where you are. So with the addition of Andrew Wiggins, them having a number two pick, and their players being injured from last season, getting these young players to develop and kind of see what it takes. I think they have everything they need. All they're missing is a big, but the way things are looking, we'll see what happens with that. Number
Okay.
five, I got that Miami Heat. Just came off a championship run. Like I said, Miami Heat, Coach Spo, that whole organization, they came out and said that they challenge their players. Obviously, they have defined roles, but they still challenge their players every single season to improve in a weak area. So if Duncan Robinson can improve, if Kendrick Nunn can improve, if Goran Dragic can stay healthy, if Bam can improve, if Tyler Hero can improve with that championship DNA that they have now, or championship aspirations rather, I think they'll put themselves in a good position as well. Number
Yeah.
six, and I know you're shocked. The Clippers are all the way at number six on my list, right? They got my
Mm.
favorite player. They got PG, but they did lose Doc Rivers. Montrezl Harrell is going to be a free agent. Paul George still hasn't proven that he has what it takes to be that number two option. And I think they're just going to be going through a lot of changes as well too. But I think once we finally see their moves that they need to be made, and like I said, if Kawhi can take that next leap, then I
Hmm.
think they'll have, they'll put themselves in a position to, to compete for a title.
I
Number
feel it.
seven, I got Boston. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown have finally reached stardom. They have arrived now. I like their coach. I like their team. All they need to do is add some size because we saw with Tice, you're really not gonna get nothing like that. Bam was able
Yeah.
to exploit that, and you can argue he was the best player in that series, other than Jason Tatum as well too. Kemba was injured as well. A lot of people didn't realize he was battling knee issues. So fully healthy, I think Boston can get there as well too. Number eight, I got Toronto, the Toronto Raptors. Never count them
Mm.
out. They're going to continue to improve. I think this was the first year that Fred Van Fleet and the first year that Pascal Siakam were able to get more shots up with Kawhi leaving. But this was the first time that Pascal Siakam was able to be a number one option. And kind of like how those hybrid point forwards are, they rely so much on their athleticism and playmaking ability that we
The
tend to
half court
forget
stuff.
that they need to work on their half court set. He needs to work on his jump shot. And I feel like if looking at his trajectory, if Pascal Siakam, which he has every single year, improves, I think he's going to become more of a complete player. And I think he's going to be that person, that guy to get them over the hump. Number nine, I got Luka. I got the Mavs. Luka is one of those generational talents that I think is next up when Bron leaves. I think we're going to see another hybrid like that. I mean, you can argue if Porzingis never messes up his knee, they probably beat the Clippers and they could potentially go back and forth with the Nuggets and go to the conference finals. And that's a pretty good matchup. You got a baby Bron and a hybrid like a Dirk type of player matching up with AD and Bron. I think Luka just needed a little taste of what it felt like to play in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
I think he's gonna roll from there. Now the biggest what if is they still need some moving pieces. And we gotta kind of have to see how Porzingis pans out. You know, he tore his ACL last season, missed 18 months or so, and then this
Mm-hmm.
year he tore his meniscus. So we'll see what happens with him. If he's fully healthy and he's good to go, they have a shot. They have a shot. And number 10, can't count out James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I
Mm-hmm.
just think two MVPs still in their prime. They have something to prove. They went out pretty bad, but I think if they get a new coach, move a couple pieces around, and Russell Westbrook is able to get back at least into his threat where he's a mid-range threat, I think they'll have what it takes to get back there. Now we can stop here, but do you have your top 10 list, or are we set? Or are you pretty good with
I
mine?
I do. It's gonna breed controversy though.
Okay, let me
Here
hear
we
it.
go. So I got Lakers number one. I got Nuggets number two. I don't think there'd be too much of a fall off. Then I have Toronto making some big moves in number three. Number three,
Wow.
just the matchup problems, the not I say matchup problems, but really the defensive identity of that team, and under like Nick Nurse is going to be pretty good. Clippers at four, so I'm not shitting on y'all too much. Have the Heat at five, which honestly, if we're being real, Heat should be a little bit higher, and that's it's taking some respect away from it. So if the Heat hear this, you have every right to be mad. It's just how NFL. I got Boston at six, Blazers at seven.
Blazers. Ooh, fuck.
Yep.
Sorry,
Warriors at
Dame.
eight. Yeah. Warriors at eight coming in. If they can get that together. I got the Nets at nine, barring a healthy Kyrie and KD relationship. I said Nets, right?
Yep.
Cool. Who did I take out of there? And
Who's number
then
10?
number 10, I have Milwaukee.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Best, yeah, right.
Yeah. I didn't put Milwaukee there just because, like I said, we already had this conversation. I go on and on and on about it. Y'all probably get tired of it. Small markets not being able to thrive. And I just feel like, I mean, obviously the front office told Giannis, like, yo, we're going to do everything in our power to compete for a title. I just don't see a player that they're looking for to get them over the hump when the East is just getting better and better as well. And I think that
Yeah,
Giannis may be in Golden
getting out of
State by the
there.
time the season start, maybe in
Interesting.
Toronto by the season start, maybe in Miami
Interesting.
by the season start. So we don't really know, man. So
That
I
would be a
left them
crazy
out.
move for Miami. That'd be a crazy freaking move.
And I think so too. I would trade. I love Bam. Like he's one of those players where he's destined to be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you can get Giannis and do a sign and trade, and maybe get rid of Tyler Hero with Bam with a draft pick for Giannis, I think that's tough, and I think that's a win-win.
Okay. My two predictions from my list. And again, round up, coming down the stretch of my list, I have Boston at six, Blazers at seven, Warriors at eight, Nets at nine, and I said the Nets at 10.
No,
Oh, we're
you
not.
said
No,
you said
no.
Bucks at 10. You said Bucks at
I,
10.
I, yeah, I said Bucks at 10, but this is barring that there is an unhealthy Kristaps Porzingis because I think Kristaps Porzingis is very injury prone, so I don't know if we're going to see a very healthy Kristaps Porzingis coming down these next few years. And also, we have a Doc Rivers coach 76ers team that will probably look very good. See what happens.
They're gonna look very good. It's like when you dating. Oh, she bad.
Ah.
You just did it because she bad, and then when you actually get to like see her below the surface of it, you're like, yo, like
Oh my
we really don't mess
gosh.
like that. Like it's gonna look good
Oh
on
my
paper, but
gosh.
there's gonna be some problems. I just feel like with Doc, like I love Doc Rivers. Don't get me wrong, but looking at his track record, looking how the East is getting better, and we're taking into a fact if they're going to take that next leap, Ben Simmons is going to have to up his game, which he
Yeah.
keeps telling us he will, and he hasn't. So maybe this is the time where he finally gets hit on the head and does it. I just see them going to the second round, getting bounced out again, blowing the lead.
Could you see the Lakers trying to jockey for their bench players and getting Kuzma over there and stuff like that?
For who? Tobias?
I mean, they got a Tobias over there. They got players like Mike Scott that can shoot the rock on the outside. Maybe not a great defender, but I don't know.
I
I
mean,
just
put
want
it this way: LeBron and AD are so great. Like you can put
to
anyone
surround
out
him.
there for real,
Yeah, I think
and you
Tobias
know.
would go crazy in LA. I mean, he did with the Clippers, but
I
playing
mean,
beside LeBron James.
we're gonna see a career year again. I mean, he had a career year in the Clippers, so there's
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind. Third year with the Sixers, the second half year with the Sixers, he's gonna
Mhm.
have a breakout year as well too. But yeah, any last words for episode 94, man?
Nah, y'all be safe, man. Definitely out in RVA, man. So many crazy things happening, bro. There was rumors, not rumors, but there was one time when there was the murder capital, and there's been like 50 deaths, like shootings, stuff like that within this year already. So I urge you to be safe. I urge you to move with caution. Urge you to, you know, take care of yourself and everything like that. So safety first. Reach out to us. We're always big on interaction, man. If you ever want to talk, kick it about something like that, we'll reply to your comments and stuff like that. We love the fans, man. So just appreciate y'all and everybody stay safe.
Yes, sir. Everybody stay safe. No need to elaborate on that, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 94 of the Season Show with Sir Season and Trade Day XXIV. Make sure to subscribe, rate, comment, share, and spread the love. We out.
Peace.